Today I'll be doing a deep dive into West London's deadliest gang, the Harrow Road Boys. I'll be piecing together the history of the Mozart estate and how their residents became one of the most lethal gangsters in the city. I hope to
this is why you should, bro, man are doing a whole breakdown. Fucking hell. A whole breakdown of your law.
A clear timeline of each gang's origin and how things transpired the way they did.
Westminster's biggest problem with vandals is here on the Mozart estate in North Kensington.
See, in the early 90s, Mozart was known for his lucrative drug trade and nicknamed Crack City. During this period, Mozart and South Kilburn were united. Mozart was also cool with Ladbroke Grove, who during this period would name them the Mozart Mexicans. Lead figures of the Mozart Mexicans included Double OG, Big Mecca and Ricky Platts. Double OG was the father of G Dots, Little Dots and Wu. Now a key player during this Mozart era was a man known as Sutty. Sutty and his crew were feared throughout the city and he was known to be a live wire. Rumours Sutty would pretend to squash beef with guys, lean in for a deceptive hug and then stab them in their ribs. His brutal reign of violence would soon turn fatal. On the 29th of October 1993, Sutty and gang would shoot dead a trapper called David Clark on Bravington Road.
Man said you're going to a handshake thinking the beef is dead. Ying 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 ying. I can't lie, what the fuck, fam?
Maida David Clark's gold chain would also be taken. A 22-year-old man who had lived in Portnell Road in North Paddington was charged with his murder but was later acquitted. Now Mark Lambie was known as the Prince of Darkness and was a known shooter and
Prince of Darkness. To be honest, fucking hell.
Leader of the Tottenham Mandem. He was very cool with Sutty and his Mozart goons. Mark Lambie's Tottenham Mandem had war with Hoxton-based crew Love of Money, and due to Sutty's friendship with Lambie, he inherited his beef. In 1996, police believed that Lambie and Sutty were behind the shooting and wounding of Kenneth Rowe in Willesden. Rowe, originally from Stamford Hill, had been a part of a gang of steamers from South Tottenham, Stamford Hill and Clapton, called the DMC Posse in the late 1980s. The term steamers are used for groups involved in robbery, often snatching chains, phones or mugging on public transport or streets. Now Rowe declined to aid police in the shooting. The following April, in what appeared to be an attack against Lambie, 2 men were shot in a case of mistaken identity at a place to be Caribbean restaurant in Kensal Rise. 3 men walked into the restaurant asking for Mark to identify himself. Mark Lambie, who was believed to have been there, kept quiet. Instead, 2 other men identified themselves and taking no precautions, the gunmen shot both. One was Mark Spence, an unemployed painter and decorator, who was immediately shot dead. The other was Mark Verley, who was shot in the spine and paralyzed. He died sometime later. Now it is not known whether or not Kenneth Rowe was one of the gunmen acting out revenge. But 6 weeks later, on the 15th of June 1997, allegedly Sutty and Mark Lambie will shoot dead Kenneth Rowe in Mount Pleasant Lane, Upper Clapton. Mark Lambie and Sutty, suspects in the earlier shooting, were arrested, although there was insufficient evidence, so were released. Now 3 weeks after
released?
Kenneth Rowe, Sutty, real name Clifford Angle, was shot dead as he sat in Lambie's BMW outside the Warwick Castle pub in Portobello Road. The gunman had pulled up beside him in a yellow car and calmly shot him 6 times. Now they say money is the root of all.
I said 40. These lot are like 50, bro. These are unks, like these are super unks, bro. These lot are like 50, bro.
All evil. And with both Mozart and South Kilburn making big money from their dealings, it would eventually lead to them falling out due to money-related issues and vying for control. During 2007, American gangbanging culture would seep into London. The Blood vs Crip phase would emerge with Mozart flagging the colour red, along with affiliates St. Raff's and Kensal Green, rivaling South Kilburn, Stonebridge, Ladbroke Grove, etc., who wore blue. Colour banging got so bad that people were scared to wear anything red or blue in these areas, even if they weren't involved. Mozart also had beef with Church Road and Shepherd Bush during this time. Now DB9 was the founder and boss of HRB, which stood for Harrow Road Boys.
I'm a HRB, this is Pattern Gang.
Mozart, Kensal Green and Warwick. Other important members in HRB included the son of fallen Mozart legend Sutty, who was also called Sutty in his honour, Ratlin, Boss Belly, Hersey, Billy the Kid, and Fredo to name a few. In 2011, Boss Belly was the face of Mozart and HRB in general. His rap songs would rack millions of views. In Mozart, he was a lieutenant who had authority over his youngers Fredo, Mouth, Sav, Billy the Kid, etc.
Alright, back, boss motherfucking belly up in
I remember Boss Belly though, can't lie, he's a throwback.
I didn't even need to say my motherfucking name, Not me. Yeah.
2011 was also the same year Ratlin dropped his Messiah remix. It became one of the first videos on Link Up TV to amass 1 million views and became a classic and staple in UK rap history. It was a very good year musically for the Mozart estate. On the 29th of September 2011, a teenage girl named Jessica Critchlow was shot with a shotgun all over her upper body as she cradled her 11-month-old baby. This was a joint ride-out by South Kilburn and Ladbroke Grove. Jessica Critchlow suffered face, neck and chest injuries when a South Kilburn gang member, armed with a shotgun, fired into a crowd of young people on the rival Mozart estate. A year later, and South Kilburn targeted HRB once again. On the 11th of September 2011, HRB member Hersey would be shot in the chest twice on the Mozart estate by South Kilburn members. He was taken to hospital where his condition was initially described as life-threatening. However, he recovered later and was said to be in stable condition. The government would later deport Hersey to the Netherlands. At around 12:30 AM on the 14th of December 2012, 15-year-old HRB member G. was driving a Nissan Micra illegally in the Brent area of northwest London. When marked police officers attempted to pull him over, he failed to stop. A short pursuit followed and the car crashed into the tree at the junction of Bronsbury Park and Honeyman Close. G. was pronounced dead at the scene. 3 passengers were also injured, one 19-year-old in critical condition and 2 others in serious but stable conditions. On the 30th of August 2015, Europe's largest street festival, Notting Hill Carnival, took place in West London on August bank holiday. Around 20 HRB members would duck down 20 Shepherd Bush ops.
20? Bro. How is there that many people in a 20? Where you finding 20 members, fam?
HRB member Chippy would stab 12 anti-member Jeezy in the neck with a broken bottle because Jeezy was super close with South Kilburn members. C Biz's ER batch to be specific. During these times, Shepherd Bush was also cool with Ladbroke Grove's very own CGM. Now, by the end of 2015, Boss Belly came out of prison after facing 14 years. He was put on ASBO by the police and was banned from the borough of Westminster City, where Mozart estate was located. Boss Belly accused Mouth of snitching on him and telling police that he was hanging from a window of a car and shooting a man. The same boys under Boss Belly like Fredo, Capo, Sav, Billy the Kid, etc. would take Mouth's side in a power struggle. It didn't help that Boss Belly tried to get him in line. See, yesterday's youngsters were now grown men and they weren't going for that. The likes of Ratlin, Wu and a few others would remain neutral. The following year, on the 1st of March 2016, Fredo would become a rapper and debut his single, They Ain't 100, and it would blow up instantly, propelling him to stardom. Labels would come knocking and he would sign a record deal. He used his newfound fame and riches to strengthen his grip on Mozart. Seeing as he was the meal ticket for the rest of the guys, it's only right he became a leader. Now, Boss Belly, who was banned from Mozart, would start chilling in Kensal Green and formed his own new batch there called OL, which stood for Outlaw Living. Fredo would form the set PG, which stood for Pattern Gang. Boss Belly once attempted to come to Mozart and on the orders of Fredo was shot at by Billy the Kid.
On the orders of Fredo. See. He's on the Lobos thing. He's on the Lobos thing still.
On the 24th of March 2016, Fredo was stabbed by CGM member CJ. Fredo was left fighting for his life at the junction of 3rd Avenue at 7:30 PM. Fortunately for him, he was treated at hospital and survived. 2 days later, HRB would retaliate. HRB member K-Kid would catch CGM member CJ lacking nearby Ladbroke Grove and stab him in his eye, leaving him with this nasty scar on his face.
Eesh. Yo.
2016 Notting Hill Carnival, HRB members would film themselves in enemy territory. On the 26th of May 2017, an innocent bystander in Mohana Abduhu was fatally shot in Kilburn, northwest London, when 2 HRB gang members on bicycles opened fire. The bullet that struck her ricocheted off the wall, hitting Mohana in the back and severing a major artery. She tragically died at the scene. It was later confirmed she was not the intended target for the gunman. The case shocked the community as Mohana had been enjoying time with friends when the shooting occurred. Now, 2 men, Capo, real name Mohammed Tawfiq, and Killian Granham were initially arrested and charged with murder. However, after trial, both were acquitted due to insufficient evidence to directly link them to the crime. The case highlights the issues of gang violence and the danger faced by innocent people caught in such situations. On the 24th of September 2018, around 9 PM, a man and his pregnant girlfriend had just returned from dinner and when getting out of their car in the car park area outside their home in Woodchester Square, Maida Vale West.
Bro, I actually don't know why it's always girls that get caught in the crossfire, bro. Too many women have been killed in the crossfire of shootings. There's too many to list, bro. Like, anytime someone gets hit on a ricocheting, it's always a woman, bro. It's fucked. And they usually got nothing to do with it.
London. HRB founder DB9 and his brother DB7, along with 3 other men in balaclavas, approached. They tried to drag their pregnant girlfriend into a stolen transit van driven by DB7.
All my days. Bro, what?
London. HRB found that DB9 and his brother DB7, along with 3 other men in balaclavas, approached. They tried to drag their pregnant girlfriend into a stolen transit van driven by DB7 using false plates. She managed to escape. The man was bundled into the van and driven away. The gang repeatedly punched and kicked him while driving around London. They later transferred him to the rear footwell of a second stolen car.
Man said they try and nap the pregnant woman. But no, that's the question we need to know. How does this guy know all this information? Because if man are getting all this info from Reddit, like, come on, man. That's not, bro. Like, how are man making whole videos based on what people are saying on Reddit, bro? And the people talking on Reddit are fucking, bro, little. We know who the people talking on Reddit are.
Driven by Bradley Evans and continued beating
This guy.
at around 1:05 to 1:15 a.m. on the 25th of September 2018. They took him to Bradley Evans' home on Fulham Palace Road, Fulham. There, he was tied up, bound in a bath for about 12 hours. He was repeatedly kicked and punched again, and corrosive fluid was poured all over him, causing burns to
PH1.
his skin. Now, while holding him, the gang contacted the victim's mother via an unregistered mobile phone number. They demanded money and let her speak to her son, who pleaded that he would be killed if she didn't pay. Now, the mother paid around £6,000, but the gang demanded more and refused to release him. They then demanded...
See, I can't lie. If you ever get napped, don't rise the G side. Don't rise the G side, because you see, once you rise the G side, bro, you're gonna get leaned on for more still. Bro, if you ever get napped, just tell them, listen, if you're not killing me, just get the job done, bro. Just let me go.
under the victim's Rolex watch, instructing her to leave it on the tyre of a specified parked car. CCTV captured Jamal Gordon Harris collecting the watch. While the watch was being picked up, the victim was dumped on the side of the road. A member of the public helped him.
I'm telling you,
and he
bro,
was taken to hospital.
like, I'm not even just chatting. Man, without talking to, man's heard of certain man that's been grabbed, you get what I'm saying? Bro, they rose the G side. They rose the G side. And they didn't get let go until more got risen. It's dark. And man's heard of guys that's been grabbed. Man, no one he got grabbed, bro. They grabbed him. They try and make him rise XYZ. They called his brother. His brother said, listen, I'm not rising nothing. You gotta kill him. I swear down. Do you know what they done? They let him go. They let him go. I'm not lying. Don't rise the G side, bro. It sounds a bit mad when you think about it, but think about it. They're not gonna kill you, bro. Unless you get napped by the cartel and them. Hey, long day. They're gonna chainsaw you down still. But in the UK, bro, I can't lie. It's rare they're gonna kill you, bro.
Hospital. The stolen vehicles were later found.
His brother
burned
done
out
the
in
smart
North
thing,
West
though.
London. All 5 men were found guilty of conspiracy to kidnap at Harrow Crown Court. They were sentenced on Friday, 12th of July 2019. DB9, real name Aston Rochester, sentenced to 11 years and 3 months. DB7, real name Denzel Rochester, sentenced to 9 years and 9 months. Bradley Evans was sentenced to 10 years and 3 months. Jamal Gordon Harris was sentenced to 10 years and 3 months. And finally, Ranel Ruti, 9 years and 9 months. On the 2nd of January 2019, Digga D, along with fellow CGM members, will travel to Harrow Road.
You taking that chance, though? Hey, it's down to you whether or not you're taking that chance. If what they're asking for, you confirm, then cough up the peas and pray that they don't ask you to rise more. But if you know it's not firmable, bro, I can't lie. The way man see it, bro. Heaven's better than the world, bro.
Look for HRB members. Now, armed with baseball bats and machetes, they would spot HRB members and a fight ensued. At 7:10 p.m, police were called to reports of a large fight involving 20 people armed with weapons in the area of Great Western Road and Harrow Road in Westbourne Park. By the time police arrived, all the suspects
all my days, he's booting.
ran away, but his 17-year-old was taken to hospital shortly after the fight with a large slash wound to his face, and another man who was called Damani Charles, who was a HRB member known as Sav. He was stabbed in the abdomen by CGM member Jay Sav. Sav attempted to leave the scene but was found and treated by police. Now, officers went through 100 hours of CCTV footage and identified a further 6 suspects. At least 7 knives, a machete, and 1 firearm was brandished due to the cause of
Flipping
the fight.
hell, 7 knives, 1 minute, yo!
CCTV helped detectives identify a grey vehicle that arrived at the scene just after 7 p.m, 10 minutes before the fight, with the 17-year-old and Jay Sav inside. This vehicle was followed shortly by another red car.
That's a
carrying
free
Digga D.
fall right
On
there.
the 22nd of January, police searched Jay Sav's address and carried out a warrant where they found clothing matching the suspects identified in the CCTV of the fight. Phone examination also placed the suspects at the scene of the fight. South Kilburn gangster J1 and other South Kilburn members were chased and shot at in their estate by rival HRB members. This was done in broad daylight, as members of the public witnessed in horror while recording the event unfolded. HRB were not done applying pressure. On the 3rd of December 2019, South Kilburn members were walking through West Kilburn when they were approached by a HRB member on a bike who began firing at them. One South Kilburn member was shot. Emergency services were scrambled to Walton Road, close to where it meets Maida Hill. At 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday, to reports of a gunshot heard on the street, officers attended and found a man, believed to be age 18, suffering from gunshot injury. A police spokesman said the man had been taken to hospital where he is in critical condition. However, his injuries are not thought to be life-threatening. On the 2nd of April 2020, HRB member Muscle Gotti was involved in a fatal car crash. He reportedly crashed into a tree in the Wembley area. Tributes came quickly from associates like Ratlin, Fredo, and others in the scene. Now CGM would mock Muscle Gotti's death, causing Fredo to respond. A back and forth ensued online.
And man's not crashing. Man's not muscle.
Now I'm going to take you back to an event that happened in 2019 that would cause a ripple effect, dragging HRB into the mess. On the 5th of July 2019, on Harrow Road, Monks Park, Stonebridge member and friend of Kaysosa, Smalls, real name Craig Smalls, was gunned down. The shooting was caught on CCTV. The shooter crept up close on an unaware Smalls standing outside a chicken shop, who was shot at point blank range.
It's always a chicken shop. It's always a chicken shop still. It's coming like as a GM you can't eat.
And when it looked like the shooter
It's
was
a
fleeing,
straight Uber Eats thing.
he came back to shoot again while Smalls was lying on the floor. However, the shooter looked
Never
like
he
the
came
shooter was
back.
fleeing. He came back to shoot again while Smalls was lying on the floor. However, the shooter was not done riding. Moments later, he spotted Chalk Hill Boys member Big French sitting in a white car. He approached him from the front windshield and attempted to shoot him, but his gun jammed. Now into
So bro done one shooting. He said, nah, I'm not going home. I done the next shooting. Straight after. That guy needs to be locked up still. There's no way he's still on the streets with us.
2020, many CSB members were released from prison and held a block party to celebrate. Now, a Stonebridge gang member, part of their SOS collective in Stonebridge, which stood for Shoot on Sight, would get intel of the party and ruin the fun. SOS member Crash Corn would slide. He spotted the CSB.
His name is Crash Corn. Crash Corn. Hey yo, deep for that to be your name. Crash Corn. With a K. Hey, this guy has to be fed. This guy has to be fed still. Crash Corn.
Member along with his family and didn't hesitate to shoot. The CSB member would shoot on sight, would get intel of the party and ruin the fun. SOS member Crash Corn would slide. He spotted the CSB member along with his family and didn't hesitate to shoot.
He saw them with the... What happened to the street code though? If you get caught lacking with your family, you get loud. We saying, chat, is that street code done? That don't exist with the new Gen Z GMs. I thank God man didn't choose this life, bro.
The CSB member was shot in the arm. His wife was shot 5 times in the chest. And the most...
Oh my days! He shot the wife 5 times! Why is he doing that though?
heinous crime of them all, the 2-year-old was shot in the head. Fortunately, all survived, but had life-changing injuries.
Oh
Crash
my
Corn would
God.
later be charged for a triple attempted murder, but to everyone's surprise, he would manage to beat the case due to insufficient evidence. Now, for what Crash...
And he's out on the streets! No! 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 This guy is out on the streets right now. Why did I even say his name, bro? You man should have even given me a disclaimer, bro. This nigga is out on the streets. I can't lie, I'm never going near Northwest again. It's impossible.
did, his father was executed in Jamaica. Stonebridge members would hold a vigil for the father of Crash Corn. HRB member Billy the Kid, who recently got out of jail, would gain...
How is he bust that though? 3 AMs. And bro, why is he shooting? Hey. Yo.
intel when this vigil happening and preparing an attack. However, before he put things into motion, he got a call letting him know his friend Arms was stabbed to death. Arms was from Warwick, where Billy the Kid was also from. Tragically, he lost his life after being stabbed in the early hours of July 15th, 2020. Now, Billy the Kid, who was already planning to crash the vigil, being held by Stonebridge members, now had even more of a reason to. Despite Stonebridge having nothing to do with Arms' death, they were affiliated with the Listen Green gang who were responsible. Upon hearing the news, Billy went to St. Raph's estate to round up 4 members, 2 of them being Bizzle and Gritty. They would get in the car with Billy and travel to the vigil to carry out the drive-by shooting. However, before they could reach the destination, they were spotted by Monk Park's members who let their Stonebridge affiliates know. This allowed the Stonebridge members to be armed and ready. When they finally got to the vigil, Billy the Kid got out and opened fire indiscriminately, but missed. The Stonebridge members fired back and struck Billy twice in the back. Then multiple gunshots were being fired at the same time, resulting in one of the St. Raph members being shot in the leg, forcing them to drive off while Billy was hit and on the floor. People claimed they left Billy for dead, but they had no other choice. Bullets were flying. It was so chaotic that one Stonebridge member accidentally shot another in the arm. Members of the public recorded a video of Billy's body as paramedics were trying to resuscitate him. Billy was shot a total of 6 times. A week later, and on the 22nd of July 2020, South Kilburn rapper M. Low and Phibbs will drop the song titled No One. Lyrically, they spent majority of the track insulting Billy's death. It was a very rude one. Now, 3 of Billy's friends who rode out with him that night would be charged for his murder. You heard that right. Police couldn't find the Stonebridge members who killed Billy, so charged his friends instead. This is a legal doctrine known as joint enterprise. It allows individuals to be held criminally liable for a crime committed by another person if they participated in the crime or played a role in its commission, even if they did not directly carry out the act itself. In Billy's case, despite the fact that his friends Saeed, Yusuf and Mensa did not fire any of the shots that hit him, they were still convicted because they were part of the group that initiated the violent confrontation. The prosecution argued that by engaging in a planned retaliatory shooting, they shared intent and responsibility for the outcome, including Billy's death. Issa was sentenced to a minimum of 28 years.
Oh my days, they fully lifed these men off for their boy dying. The streets is finished.
Before being eligible for parole. Adel Yusuf was sentenced to a minimum of 27 years before being eligible for parole. And finally, Daniel Mensah was sentenced to a minimum of 26 years before being eligible for parole. Now it's one
Can't lie, you think man's doing that sentence, yeah? They're gonna open that cell and see me. Yo. Are you fucking mad?
thing to lose a friend while you are actively trying to get revenge for another friend you lost a day ago. But now you are doing football numbers behind bars while your friends
gonna be playing
are
hangman.
free. I don't think I've seen anyone take a bigger L in the streets than this. Now for the murder of Billy the Kid, HRB will target South Kilburn as revenge. Despite them having nothing to do with it, their affiliation with Stonebridge.
Man said your friends are dead though, you might as well stay alive. I'm taking the easy way out, bro. You think I give a fuck about my friends, bro? You think I give a fuck about my friends? My friends is the reason I'm in here. I'm playing hangman, bro. I'm playing hangman. I'm pressing the D-pad. I'm going to the bottom of that list and I'm taking the easy way out, bro. Fuck that. I don't give a... Yo. Dino Verdunia still. Dino Verdunia.
Well as their historic beef with them was enough. So on the 12th of August 2020, at approximately 12:20 AM, South Kilburn member Gucci was tragically shot outside his home in Kilburn. Despite efforts of emergency services, he was pronounced dead at the scene. Now in the days following his death, 2 men aged 27 and 36 were arrested on suspicion of murder, but were subsequently released under investigation. One of these men were Broad Day, who was very close with Billy the Kid and was an active gang member, which is a set located in Agar Grove, Camden. Rumours it was a paid hit by Fredo. This comes from the fact Fredo is seen on Instagram arguing with South Kilburn member Seth, telling him to get back for his boy.
Why you liking my pics? You ain't done
While Seth replies, "We don't pay anybody to do drillings." Now if you're enjoying this video, please click the hype button. It takes no longer than 5 seconds and it helps push this video and motivate me to push out more content. Thank you. Now Sven Berdzak was an aspiring lawyer. He was from Maida Vale, which is the same territory as some HRB members. It is believed by many that Sven was no gang member. He merely grew up in the same area and knew some of the members. This picture of him with Ratlin would unfortunately later make him a target.
I can't lie. If man not getting got for just being pictured with GMs. So that's the thing, man's not involved, so I had 2 females phobia with the fucking tier 1 sub. W sub, man. I'm not involved though, they know what I'm on, do you get me? Man's on the content thing. So, they wouldn't waste the point like that. Do you get me? I'm not involved.
On the evening of the 6th of February 2021,
I ain't got no pictures with no GMs.
Sven and his 16-year-old friend had visited Waitrose supermarket and were returning home when they were approached by a group of 6 men. This group included Southside Killing members Broad Day Ye and Shots, who attacked the pair. The attack was swift and brutal. Sven was stabbed in his chest and after collapsing was further assaulted by the group. His friend was also stabbed but managed to seek help at a nearby Tesco store. Despite paramedic efforts, Sven succumbed to his injuries at the scene. Following an extensive investigation, Broad Day Ye and Shocks were convicted of murder. They were each sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 27 years. Also, Southside killing member Little H, real name Harvey Canavin, pleaded guilty to manslaughter and unlawful wounding and received a sentence of 7.5 years for manslaughter. Now on the 19th of July 2022, HRB members were having a block party. Their enemies would get the drop. A South Kilburn gang member would be the driver, while the gunman would be a Ladbroke Grove gang member. Despite the rumours, he wasn't a CGM member, but rather from the older sets within Ladbroke Grove. They sought out blood as revenge for what happened to Gucci. Now Wu, who was the older brother of Little Dots, would be shot outside a block of flats in Queen's Park, West London. There's even a video of his friends carrying him and driving him to the hospital, where he was shortly pronounced dead. Now a post-mortem examination confirmed he died from a gunshot wound to the heart, and he had also been shot in the back. Now there's an eerie video of Wu online where he's on camera saying, "I'm like Reese Money, see my hitters, they come quick." It was like he was foreshadowing the revenge his HRB members were going to get for his death. And he wasn't lying about them being quick. Not even a month passed after Wu's death, and South Kilburn was struck again. On the 4th of September 2022, police rushed the reports of gunshots in West London at 2:02 AM. What they discovered was a man believed to be in his 20s who had suffered gunshot wounds. Now that man was none other than South Kilburn rapper M. Lowe, real name Maximilian Kuso. He was given...
Hey, that name's hard though. That name's hard though, Maximilian. Aye.
assistance at the scene and rushed to hospital, but was tragically pronounced dead at 5:32 AM. HRB rapper Fredo
Wait, hold on,
would
what?
go to hospital per M. Lowe, real name Maximilian Kuso. He was given medical assistance at the scene and rushed to hospital, but was tragically pronounced dead at 5:32 AM.
You see when he died? That's what he raps. Bro, I can't lie. I did not know that, fam. Fuck you, no. Rest in peace, bro. Damn.
HRB rapper Fredo would go on Snap and post this. In other words, half the job was done. The other half involved in Wu's murder was like
Bro put 1/2. Aye, he's boying it.
Grove, and the job would not be complete until they got revenge on them. On the 24th of October 2022, police found 2 firearms hidden in a bag in the service cupboard next to a flat. The guns were forensically linked to Little Dots and Keelan Granham. During the police activity, members in the HRB Snapchat group chat was alerted. Phones belonging to arrested HRB members were seized and downloaded, revealing the Snapchat group chat. The chat contained brazen discussion about financing and buying guns. This evidence formed the core of the conspiracy case. On the 6th of November, HRB members led by Little Dots actively searched for and planned to ambush Digga D at Tape Studios as revenge for the death of his brother Wu. HRB members were allegedly tipped off by rapper Russ, who gained this information via his manager, who had seen Digga D at the studio. However, the plan was not executed as Digga D left the studio around 1 AM, which caught them off guard. On the 10th of November, police searched the flat in Vauxhall Tower.
Hey, bro, don't you find it mad how you just don't know when you're gonna die? Especially these lot that live this kind of life. You don't know when you're gonna die. If someone's planning, someone could have mapped out your whole death and you just don't know, bro. It's actually scary. Aye, 2 female phobia. 2 female phobia with a 5 gifted sub. Yo.
W to the fucking shot.
Yo.
W to the fucking shot. W to the fucking shot.
W's. Aye, W5 though. W5, man. Appreciate you, man. W5 though. W's in the fucking chat for 2 females phobia.
Block and found a loaded gun hidden in a roof void. Additional firearms linked to the gang were recovered during a broader 6-month investigation in late 2022. Arrests of 8 HRB members were made. In August 2015, all 8 men were found guilty. Judge Marcus Trigglegas Davey sentenced the men at Kingston Crown Court to a total of 116 years.
Oh my
6
days.
defendants, Little Dots, Keelan Granham, Abdullah, Briggs Leon, Yassin and Yakalo were sentenced to 17 years each, while Harry Clark was sentenced to 14 years, and Abraham Safo Frimpong was sentenced to 2 years. Now Fredo was named as a co-conspirator, but was not on trial as he went on the run. On the 27th of August 2023, during Notting Hill Carnival, police officers working on the security operation observed HRB member Sati via CCTV in Ashmore Road, W9, and peculiarly noticed he had left a bag at the location. Officers from the City of London Police were deployed and they found a Glock pistol with ammunition in a bag. Sati was later arrested.
A deep dispatch though. Hey, them boys got them upgraded Jones. What's that? That's looking like a G40. No extended clip though. Come on, Unc. Invest in the extendo. Man need at least 21 in that drone.
nearby and taken into custody. Sutty later appeared in court in September 2023, where he pleaded guilty to possession of a firearm and ammunition and sentenced to 5 years in prison. Now, low-key is the
Okay, so
founder
you
and
know,
owner
hey, IJ, you saw that? Yo, you saw that? Yo.
of behaviours Music, an independent Australian label started in
Hey,
2000.
chat, apparently reacting to videos on YouTube is gossiping. Like, I'm the one that made the video. Yo,
19.
yo, niggas
Fredo
can't do
officially
anything these
signed
days.
with behaviours Music in August 2025 after meeting Low Key in Dubai. This came shortly after he liquidated his previous UK company. On the 2nd of April 2026, Fredo dissed several HRB members in his Fire in the Booth Part 2 freestyle, mainly due to built-up frustration over loyalty, money, and lack of support. Members like Yasin and Blacks would clap back on Snapchat/Instagram stories, accusing Fredo of snitching vibes in the past, not saying no comment in stations, and being disloyal now that he's in a better position. It's the classical UK drill in-house drama, money plus loyalty issues, plus jail time exposing cracks. Fans are split. Some say Fredo is right to call out a dead weight. Others call him a snake for dissing people locked up or going against his ops. It's actually pretty crazy because Fredo stood in a foreign booth thousands of miles away from Mozart, microphone in hand, and spoke the words no one wanted to hear. One by one, he buried the names of brothers who once rode as one. Smiley, Yasin, Blacks, men doing decades in cells they couldn't shoot their way out of. The same circle that once moved like a pack of wolves turned on itself. That brings me to the end of this video. Please like and subscribe, and for the uncensored
Bro, man, safe, man. Hey, chat, what did we learn from that, though? The street life ain't worth it, man. Just get a job, get education. So many senseless deaths. Pointless, bro. Can't lie. Don't be a GM. It's pointless. To be honest, I feel like the world's healing, though. I feel like more people are clocking it's low ROI-ish. I feel like more people are, especially with the help of TikTok. Being a GM just looks robbed these days. I don't know though. I don't really know. I don't feel like there's as much GMs as there was back in the day. I feel like everyone's on the money flex now. It's low ROI-ish still. It's low ROI-ish. Yeah, nah, it's mad bearish right now still. Can't lie.